Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. I hope you're having a good day. In this video, what I want to do is show you a very simple way of building a frequency distribution table in Word. Why am I doing this? Okay. A lot of students will copy and paste tables from SPSS, or R, Stata, even Excel into their documents and think that that's good enough. And then what happens is they run into losing a lot of time, a lot of sleep, trying to figure out how to make it look like an APA table. And then some of them compound the problem by actually never even looking at the stylistic developments of a table in their field, whether it's in engineering or education or psychology. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how do you build a frequency distribution table in Word and how easy it is. All right. The first thing you need to understand is you don't use Word at the beginning. What you do is you use paper. What you want to do is you want to sketch it out. It will give you an idea of what it needs to look like when it gets done. And so I always tell people, how many columns and how many rows are you going to need? Figure that out first. And you can figure that out by simply drawing it. I know that I'm going to need one row for my header, for my title, where it says, in this case it says decade, frequent. That's a row. I know I'm going to need this row. I know because it's a frequency distribution table, I'm going to need a total row. That's this row. And then I just need to identify how many rows do I need for each of the levels for that variable. In this example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one row for the header, one row for the total, 4 rows for the data levels, for a total of 6 rows. What if it was gender, male, female? Well, that's one row for the header, one row for the total, and if I just did male female, then 2 rows for male and female, so that'd be a total of 4 rows. The next question is, how many columns do I need? And this goes back to a lot of the previous videos where I said it really is dependent upon the kind of table that you want to make, what kind of tables are generally made in your field, and how can you be consistent. And as I've also mentioned in previous videos, I prefer, and I've made a mistake here, I just saw, I should say percent. I prefer having both the percent column and the cumulative percent column. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So if I wanted to recreate this table, I come down here, I go table 2, give it a title. Come to insert, table, and I should have written at some point in time, I need to build a table that has 4 columns and 6 rows. And there it is. You notice already it doesn't look anything like that. So how do I make it look like that? Okay, watch. If I come to home, I highlight the table. I come right here where the border is, and I say no border. I then come here, line and paragraph spacing options. I hit the options button. And I add 6-point spacing before, 6-point spacing after. I hit OK. Because I know this is a frequency distribution table, I know I need vertical lines, horizontal lines on the header, and I know I need horizontal lines on the total. Hopefully you see it's already starting to look that way. Now in a frequency distribution table, the first column is always the variable column. In other words, what was the variable? So I'm going to copy and paste just to save us a little time and put that there. It's left justified because we're dealing with variables and we're dealing with text, even though these are numbers. It's really representing an idea, not a number. And I know that this is frequency, percent, and cumulative percent. And because these are going to be heading numbers, I center them. Now, a lot of people will center this as well. Don't. Keep them left. I'm going to show you why in just a second. So this is going to say frequency. Sometimes they'll say freak, and that's okay. Once again, it's just a matter of being consistent. And I know that my frequency was, if I remember correctly, 17, 6, 5, 1, for a total of 29. Now, earlier I said what you don't want to do is hit the center justified button. And that's what a lot of students will do. But you'll notice this is not formatted properly. The 6, the 5, and the 1 are not completely below the 7. And what I see some students do is they will sit there and they'll go, okay, I'll just hit the space button. That's good enough, right? Well, no, because now the 5 is a little bit, but because the spacing, the 6 actually isn't. So that doesn't work. And this is why we do this little trick that I'm about to show you. If we keep everything left justified, we highlight those cells. And if you have your ruler up, if we double click on the ruler, you'll get a tabs button. If you click on decimal and hit OK, it automatically does it for you, and then you can move it to the left or right to get it more centered. Now, what if you don't have those numbers? Or let me rephrase that. What if you can't double click it? What if for some reason it's acting up? You get something like this. This will happen sometimes. What you can do is you can just double click here, and do you see where it says tabs? You can hit tabs and it'll do the same thing. Oops, I apologize. And it should then allow you to start bringing it up. You're good to go. If you'll follow these steps, get practice with them, and be consistent, it's going to make building tables a lot easier, especially when we start building other tables, because there'll be other tables that you need to build. If you build them in Word or LaTeX, life gets easier than if you're trying to build them in different programs and then bring them into a Word document or LaTeX document. You run into some issues. This is a very simple way of doing it. It shouldn't take that long. I hope this video has answered some questions. I hope it's raised some questions. If it has, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day.